Okay, we are recording. This is for the sum or a series, geometric series. So what does that mean? That's when we add up that multiple pattern. So this is how
Wait, what is the questions, Mr. T?
there's no question right now. We just have the equation. The equation is on the bottom right. And
Do we have homework today?
Yes, we do. And what I'm doing is I'm just copying this equation that's down here onto the left over here. Okay. And then when I go to the homework page, we still have the equation. But here's the equation. S of n, so the sum at the n step, it could be 10th step, 4th step, who knows, from a to 1 is 1 minus r to the n power over 1 minus r. Remember, r stands for the pattern. What is the rate, okay? And just a reminder, this is a of n equals a of 1 times r n minus 1. This is a reminder of last lesson. This top equation is for a specific term. This bottom equation here is for the sum of them, okay? So we're going to use that, all right? So like most of these, we just have to make sure we can identify everything we need to use and use them correctly. So let's look at number 48. Let me do that in red. So 48, we need to identify what is our things we need. So we need A1, we need an N, and we're going to need an R. So A1, look at this equation up here, is the number in front of what's getting powered up by. So A1 in this case for 48 is going to be 5. R is the one that's getting risen by the power. R is getting the one risen in the power or in the parentheses. So in this case, R is going to be 2. And if you remember from arithmetic sequences, we start from 1 to 10. So since we're starting from 1 to 10, we'll go up to 10 is our n, because we're going to 10. So n equals 10, okay? All right, so A1 is 5, R is 2, N is 10. We have all the actors. Now we could put it on. So we're going to plug it all in here to this equation. So we have 5 parentheses 1 minus r to the n power. So that's 2 to the 10th power over 1 minus r, just r, which is 2. Close parentheses. Okay? Okay? So what happens here is we're going to do the, and I guess I should say this is technically a little invisible 1 here, because that's our starting point, and we'll see how that affects in another question. But so that's that. So then we're going to do the math. So 5, the top part is 1 minus 2 to the 10th power. I don't know offhand what 2 to the 10th power is, so I'll just use Google to tell me. So 2 to the 10th power happens to be 1,024. We're going to subtract 1 away from it. So 1,024 minus 1 is 1,023. So it's a negative 1,023. All over 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Very important. You should notice you got a double negative. That's going to be important because your sum should be positive, at least in this case. So negative 1,023 over negative 1. That says 5 times 1,023. 1,023 times 5 should be 5,115.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Good. So a palindrome, which is cute, but that's it. Again, so it's identify, plug in, solve. We're going to do the same thing for 49. Yeah, we're going to do the same thing for 49. So we got to identify our actors. So A1 is the number in front, so that's going to be 6. R is going to be the number being multiplied, which is 4. It's R. And then N is going to be our N step, which is 8 in this case.
Mr. Topa, what does it say next to the A? Is that RB? I don't know what that says.
It's A over here.
Yeah, like the red. You know how you did the red A?
Oh, A is 6.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I'll just rewrite it for us. A1 equals 6. Okay, so now we have all our pieces. We could plug it in. And we're going to plug it into this equation over here. So S of n, we could say S of 8, is going to be A1, which is 6, parenthesis 1 minus R to the n. So we know what R is. I'm sorry, I almost put that down. R is 4 to the n power, which is 6, or which is 8. My fault. This is an 8. All over 1 minus 4. Okay. On the top, 4 to the 8th power, I have no clue what that is. But 4 to the 8th power.
It's 65,000 and something.
It's 65,536.
Thank you. So it's going to be, and let me write that down here, 6 times 6, 5, 5, 3. Remember, we're minusing 1. So instead of 6, it's going to be a 5 right here, okay?
Is it negative or positive, though?
It'll end up being negative
Negative.
because you're subtracting. Yeah.
Why is it negative?
If it looked like this, Kaplan, just so careful, if it looked like that, it would end up being positive. But it has no parentheses. So it's like you get the exponent first, then subtract. All over 1 minus 4 is negative 3. So what I'm going to do is, here's a little trick in case, because this right here, I believe, oh no, this one is divisible by 3, so why don't we just do that then? So this is 6, 5, 5, 3, 5, divided by 3, nope, equals 21,845. Again, if you forgot to subtract the 1, you're going to get like a repeating decimal, which wouldn't make sense. Then we're going to take that number and times it by the 6 that was on the outside. So you have a huge number, 13, 10, 70. So 13, 10, 70, okay?
That's
We
what I got.
box it off. Okay. For the last question, I want you guys to try yourselves, but actually, let me just do it. I want to go over it. You could try it if you want to go ahead of me. And then at the end, I'll just ask you to type something like a code word down. But let's just go over it together because there's a fraction involved. All right. So we want to identify the actors. We need an A1. We need an R. And we need an, what color was I using? Yellow. N.
Wait, why is the 2 the R and not just half being R?
It's supposed to be the whole negative a half is R. My
Oh,
fault.
so not just the 2, right?
No, not just the 2. The whole. I'll put a
Oh,
box.
okay. I was just a little confused.
No problem. So let's go through it. A1 is 12. R is a negative a half. That's going to be important.
And N is 7.
And the N is 7. Good. Okay, so we're going to plug that in. Our answer is going to be slightly different than the book's answer. We're going to assume this is a 1 over here, okay? We're going to assume this is a 1, all right? Because I don't, it's not worth teaching you the unique way to do it. But anyway, so we're going to do that. We're going to plug it into the equation. This equation on the left again. I'll do it over here in this right space. So we got A1, which is 12, parentheses, 1 minus, now this is negative a half.
It's plus. So it's plus.
No, the negative a half is inside parentheses. That has to get squared first. It might become plus, which in this case it will, but we can't assume it's plus in the beginning. I just want to make sure. To the 7th, all over 1 minus negative a half. Okay, I'm going to go back to the calculator. So we have the calculator open. Let me put this down here. All right. So we have that. We're going to do some math. First off, we need to do 0.1/2 to the 7th power. Now, if you're not sure how to do 1/2 to the 7th power, you could change it to a decimal if you wish. A decimal of 1/2 is 0.5, but it's negative 0.5, so I'll put that there.
Mr. Tobel,
Yeah, what's up?
can you let me out on my computer?
I let you in.
I'm gonna join.
Oh yeah. Just it'll show up on the list then. Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right. Are you / though? Yeah, you'll see. Whatever. Okay. So we got negative 0.5, and we want to raise that to. And actually, let me do it correctly on the calculator. I have to technically put it in parentheses. And we're going to raise that to the 7th power. So we get that decimal. Now that decimal will be taken care of soon. But we need to subtract it out of 1, right? So what happens, it's going to be 1 minus this thing, right? 1 negative minus this thing, that's going to be plus. So what I'm going to do is take this, make it positive. So let me just make it positive. And then I'm going to plus 1 to it. So right now, on top of my fraction, I have that. And we could keep it as fractions, but that's a little difficult sometimes. So because we have calculators, we could just do it. All right. All over 1 minus negative half is going to be 1 plus a half. So this is going to end up being 1.5. Close the parentheses, 12. Okay. So we're going to take this number right here. I can't highlight it there. This number right here, and we're going to divide it by 1.5. We're going to get some crazy decimal. Yeah, less crazy, I guess. But then we're going to times it by 12. So our final answer, and yeah, we need a calculator for this, and that's okay, is 8.0625 as a mixed number. That's 8 and 1/16. Okay? But 8.0625 is fine, okay? Yes, Elisa, good.
Yeah, I sent
Now-
it to you.
That's fine. So I did all the homework problems, and I'm sure you guys were listening. So you're going to type in the code word. The code word today is, it's around me, chocolate milk. Type in chocolate milk, and I'll count you for your attendance. And then you're free to go after I say your name. Rafi, you're good. Rachel, Eliza, Eden, you're all good.
Thank you,
Melanie,
Tobel.
Connie, good to see you.
Thank you, Mr. Tobel. Have a great day.
You too, guys. You're good. Ellie, you're good. Yehuda, you're good.
Thank you, Mr. Tobel. Have a
Hey,
good
no
day.
problem. Kaplan, you're good.
Thank you.
No problem. Guys who are still on the call, do you need help with any of the homework?
Mr. Tobel,
Sophia.
yeah, I'm walking right now, so I'm just confused what we're doing.
Okay, well, I recorded it. If you need help for it later on the homework, that's fine.
Yeah, I will do it later, and I'm gonna send you the homework that's due tonight, like when I get home.
That's fine. Can you type in from your phone chocolate milk so I can.
I don't know how to type from my phone. I feel like a grandma.
Just click the screen. You click your own face or something, or your camera's not on, right? And then you should have chat on the bottom.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, I found it. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Come on, Grandma. There we go. Chocolate milk.
What
Who's
am I
forward
typing?
slash? Is that you, Gabe?
Am I
Gabe?
just
Okay,
writing
got you.
chocolate milk? I'm confused.
Yeah, type chocolate
I'm
milk.
just writing chocolate milk?
Am I
Yeah,
good?
because-
Okay.
Because I did all the problems, so there's no extra tickets.
Mr. Tobel, am I good?
Rahel,
Okay,
you're good.
fine. Thank you so much, Mr. Tobel.
Hey, no problem, both of you. Okay, see you around.